Hey guys, I'm Dusty Harris.
And I'm Kayla Platt, and we are from Amazing Race Season 33, and this is Pitstop Podcast. Hello guys, and welcome back. It is Leg 9, Thessaloniki, and talk about a rock in a hard place.
Too soon.
I'm super excited to talk about this episode because one, I think it's definitely going to be a little bit more emotional and just kind of like figuring out like what each person was feeling. It's the infamous equalizer. But not only that, it's kind of a fun one from like an Amazing Race fan, like from like a statistic point of view. I kind of have a lot of statistics as far as note taking this episode. I'm excited to get into it. Again, leg 9, we're going into another self-drive leg, still in Greece. We are leaving first with Kim and Penn. You guys are leaving second. So how are you guys feeling this morning when you were about to get going on leg 9?
Boy, if I'd have known what was coming, I would have stayed in bed, I'm pretty sure. We're doing okay at this point. In our mind, we feel like we gave up a second place finish the leg before. We got out of the last roadblock that Ryan completed just before you guys, and we missed that turn to the pit stop. We watch you guys make it, and we have to circle back around. So it was a little defeating, but overall, we're in a pretty good, mind frame. We're all exhausted, so I'm not going to use that as an excuse. So there's a little bit of fear. We're nervous for sure. It's down to the final 4 teams, and we can, in my mind, I can taste the money. It's just like survive at this point and get to the dance. And so really in a decent mind space, but, in the back of our minds, I'll never lie to you guys. I was worried about all of you in front of us. And if it were to present itself, a U-turn, I was nervous that today could have been the day, but I think the Amazing Race gods had something else in store for us that was a little worse than a U-turn, if I am being frank. And so how are you guys feeling going into it? Again, front group, you've been close to first so many times. I mean, you're just nipping at their heels. How you feeling?
So, you hear last leg, we were feeling comfortable. We're leaving with Kim and Penn again in the first heat. We're really sick and tired of constantly coming in second. Like, we're so close we can taste it. But I wouldn't say our confidence like took a notch down, but it was more so like we got to stop feeling like comfortable. At this point, there's 4 teams left. Our whole motto was just try and get to the finale. Like don't be last. But now we're seeing how strong of a team we're actually proving to be, but we just haven't gotten the cake yet. So being in last at one point the previous leg kind of spooked us a little bit as far as like we've got to figure out how to fine tune some things because the smallest thing can trip you up on the Amazing Race. So I would say we were just going in a little bit more like in a different headspace just because the self-drive is no joke. So I don't want to say we were nervous, but we were just like, we were a little bit less like, all right, this is for fun. Like, no, like we wanted it today. Like we wanted it this leg. With that being said, we have to drive to Ring Road and find the Forest Theater. And Natalia and Arun make a good point of kind of expressing it. We are now driving through like the countryside. Like we're going into a forest where leg 8, same thing. The signage is in Greek. But this time there's actually like, not only is the signage that we do see in Greek, but there's very little of it. Like we are truly going into a forest. I thought this drive was like hellacious. It was the hardest one that we've had to do yet. Again, we left with Kim and Penn, but we actually arrived to the roadblock 30 minutes after Kim and Penn. And you do see, I'm like, oh, we have to turn around. So we were given a map, guys. We were given directions, and like this map that had Thessaloniki in it. So it had like all these tourist attractions numbered from 1 to 20. And again, we're trying to find the Forest Theater. So I find the Forest Theater, I see Ring Road, but the map is broken up into different segments of Ring Road. So I didn't know at what part we were entering into Ring Road. So once we had kind of gotten there, I had seen where the Forest Theater was, but we were past it. So I was like, oh my God, we have to turn around. But we're on a highway. And it's not just like, oh, just, chuck a Yui. Like, we literally had to go through downhill this town to turn back around on the highway to try and get off again, which was hard the first time for us. And, when we pass it, it literally looked like something from like zombies. Like it looked deserted. I'm thinking, okay, we're going to a theater. It's got to be this grand thing. Like, no, it looked like The Walking Dead, and no one's been into this place in like years. So I was like, that can't be it. Let's keep going. Obviously, that was it. We passed it. And so turning back around, we even got stuck at one point and we're backing into a fence. Like the car is literally touching the fence. And Raquel, again, it's stick shift. She's like stressed out. She's on a hill. I was like, okay, get out. I'll do it. So I get us off the hill. We have to switch back. So it was just like little tedious, like timing wise, where we lost out on there. We corrected it. It didn't feel like we were 30 minutes behind, but obviously we were. But how was the drive for you guys, before you even get to the roadblock? Because I'll try and do the best of like really separating this, because the roadblock is the majority of this episode. But so getting there, did you guys think it was just as hard?
Oh, definitely. I think, watching it, I'm pretty sure we made the same wrong turn that you guys did. I think it was just before Ring Road. We damn near saw the sign and I just veered. And something you said in my notes, you go, I don't even know how far 800 meters are. I swear to you, I said the exact same thing to Ryan and I just made the first turn. I don't know why I did that. I knew it was further than that, just my brain said go right. And so we had
Yeah.
to go down in that weird little side road and find a way to turn around to get back on the highway as well. And so in the back of my mind at this point, I'm like, damn, I've blown it before we've even started. And
Same.
again, if I'd have known what was coming, I probably would have just kept driving the other way, honestly. I mean,
Get
so
yourself to the beach.
this was very difficult. And so we do finally make it and park. And I'll agree with you. I looked around and I'm like, where are we? Like, there's nothing. And then you see the clue box kind of up, a ways. And so we get there and still don't know what we're about to walk into.
Yeah. And so going into the leg, as far as I guess going back to like my mindset, the previous leg in my mind wasn't that physical. So I was thinking leg nine, it's got to be something physical. Um, so yes, we get to the roadblock and it's who will leave no stone unturned. And what Raquel and I tried to do after the Domades thing is like, let's really try and think about what this is and pick the right person for it. So I was like, we've already done singing and dancing, like, the theater stuff. I don't think it's going to be that obvious. Like, they probably want us to think it's that going to a theater. And when it said leave no stone unturned, I was like, okay, I thought it was maybe going to be physical today. And you hear me say, I go, do you think they're heavy, like the stones? So again, we had discussed if it was physical, Raquel was going to do it. So that is how she ended up, being the one that was like, yeah, I'm going to do it. And
Poor
I,
girl.
I, I swear on my life that was the biggest blessing, because I'll get into her mindset and why she was the perfect person to do this. But so, yeah, so Raquel's doing the roadblock. How did you guys decide to do the roadblock? Because I think we were all the same. You and Ryan and me and Raquel were offset on roadblocks. But yeah, so how did you guys decide who was going to do it?
So we get to the clue box and we tear it, and I see, who will leave no stone unturned. So just like you guys, I'm thinking, man, this is something heavy. We're gonna be lifting like Atlas stones or something, like we're in where the Olympics started. Mount Olympus is in the background, so something like Greek related. I had no idea
Gladiator.
for sure, and so again, we're staggered as well. And, if it's something physical, Ryan and I, it's flip a coin. We don't care. And so I was ready to try to balance this out a bit so we could prepare ourselves for the next legs if we're to make it. And so lo and behold, I accept the challenge. And then we make the fateful walk around the corner. And there it is. You see the Oracle of Delphi in this huge, like, arena theater stage and just the most stones I've ever seen and packed into such an area. And immediately I'm like, what the hell have I gotten myself into? The Amazing Race just hit us with a needle in a haystack challenge this late into it.
Yeah, only 4 teams left.
So, I mean, I felt pretty good at this point, like at the beginning, because again, I'm seeing you guys. I'm like, okay, we caught up, and Raquel's down in the pit, Kim is in the pit, and both of them look absolutely miserable, beat to hell, just a look of dread on their eyes when I make it down. And so I'm like, what are they going to put us through right now? And I mean, I was terrified when you get down there, but at the beginning, it's just get down and start flipping as quick as you can. And so, I mean, what was it,
Yeah,
with a bird's eye view that you guys have, and I think it's an interesting thing to see it when you rewatch it because we're level on the playing field, and so it is so much more vast watching it from up there. I can't imagine what's going through your guys' mind when we're
yes.
starting this.
One, it was torturous from just like an emotional standpoint of like there's four teams left. We all know what's at stake. I've grown to care about each and every one of you guys. Um, and to back it up a little bit, we noticed that a couple of you guys coming into it have strategies. So first, again, we arrived 30 minutes after Penn and Kim. And when we get there, like Kim has, you can tell, like she's already cried at this point. I mean, she's bent over these stones for 30 minutes. She can't find it. And now another team comes in. And Penn even said it's mean almost because there's only 4 stones with coins. There are 5,000 stones, guys. So each time someone finds a stone, the chances of you finding it get even less. So that's like a daunting thing that you're like, oh my God, please just don't be last. But from just like a statistic standpoint, just because that's kind of what we got the most questions about for this podcast is, what was the arrival time of everybody? So again, Kim and Penn arrived 30 minutes before Raquel and I. And again, these are Kim's stats. All credit goes to Kim. She kept fantastic notes. I wanted to double check with her. So 30 minutes on Raquel and I. You guys arrived 15 minutes after Raquel and I, and then Arun arrives 10 minutes after you guys. So watching you guys do this, you hear a couple people mention their strategies. So Kim said she was going to do one area at a time in a pie shape and just move her way in a pie shape around the circle. Arun states that his strategy is to go from the outer circle and move inward. But then you kind of hear everyone say it like you had a strategy, but then everyone's now moving into your area. And again, guys, this is like hours that are going by. Strategy's kind of going out the window. And it's funny because I texted Raquel because I don't think she ever fully stated what her strategy was. And you hear me say, I was like, dude, this is your challenge, Raquel, because no joke, she had me meditating before every leg. Her new thing was like, she wanted to be in a good headspace, wanted to be really in tune with her mind. And I'm like, oh my God, she's the perfect even keeled person for this. I think the only person that maybe would have been better was Ryan, but I was like, this is for Raquel. You even see her, like she has like a conversation with this Oracle lady that's up there. She's like, give me your energy and whatever. Meanwhile, I'm up there thinking, Raquel, this whole time you should be flipping over stones. But, it's just strategy goes out the window. What was your strategy going into it as you're coming up to, 5,000 rocks, 2 people are ahead of you. It's a needle in a haystack. Did you have a strategy?
I mean, at the beginning, I definitely had a strategy, and mine was very similar to Kim's. And so there's these 4 pillars in the middle of the stage. And so my goal was to basically do a pie shape, and the point of each pie was going to be a pillar, work one, move to the next. There's a famous quote in the world, guys, by the infamous Mike Tyson: everyone has a plan until they're punched in the face. And after about 30 minutes of scavenging around on my hands and knees, crawling around like a lunatic, I was definitely punched in the face. And so there's been
Multiple
multiple
times.
multiple comments of why didn't you throw the stones out to the side? Why didn't you do this and that? Guys, you had to lift them up, look at them, and set them right back down where they're at. If I could have thrown them all out, I would have 100% done that, no question asked. And so that was the strategy to begin. But as you guys see, we're 30, 40 minutes in. Kim's been there for an hour. You guys been there for 45 minutes. We're all exhausted, exasperated, and like looking at each other like, is this real? Is there even a coin? Like, is this just some sick joke? I mean, production must be loving this. And so,
Yeah, and watching it, you hear me even say, I'm like, oh my God, Raquel just went to where Dusty was for the past 30 minutes. Again, strategy is out the window. And again, watching it, we're all kind of talking. We truly, like at this point, everyone wants their partner to be the first one to find it. But at this point, we just want someone to find it because that way we know that there's at least a freaking coin in this freaking thing. And it's so easy to be, the eagle looking over. But we're all just like, okay, there were these like pillars, these columns, and we're all just trying to think of, hold on guys, I have to plug in my my laptop 1 second. So we're all trying to look at what can these people do that are different than what they're doing because their strategy, lack thereof, isn't working. So Kim notices the column, starts lifting up the columns. I'm like, oh my god, Kim's gonna find it. That was what I wanted to yell that down to Raquel, but I can't. But she lifts up all these columns, not there. Then there's even bigger rocks that are like on the display where the lady's sitting and behind her. You start going to lift up these big things. I'm like, oh my god, Dusty's gonna find it. That's got to be where it is. It's the only thing they haven't done. Not there. Then there's pails with stones in them. Arun goes over to dump the bucket out. I'm like, oh my god, that's got to be it. It's got to be in there. Wasn't in there. It was like every possible thing you guys are going over 10 times and it's not there. So I mean, you see Kim with bruised knees, you see you with bloody knees. Arun looks like his pants are ripping, and there's a moment at this point where it's an hour and 15, hour and 20 in, and all of us up there are like, do we think that them down there will discuss taking a penalty? There was true conversation of us up there being like, they should maybe take a penalty, because at this point, yeah, it's a crapshoot. At least we would all maybe get to leave at the same time. Like, you just didn't want your partner to be the last one there. So, I mean, I know how I felt, obviously, when Raquel got it. I was elated. More so for, like, I just didn't want that for her to feel the stress of someone leaving. But so how did you feel when you saw her find it? Like, what were your emotions?
So I kind of had mixed emotions when she found it. One is like, oh no, now there's only three left, and I'm left here in the trenches with these other two. But secondly, I think I look at everyone and we all kind of look at each other and we're like, okay, that's a bummer someone got one, but at least we know that there's actually a coin. It almost gave
Yeah.
me a second win for about 15 to 20 minutes, honestly, because I was like, okay, get in gear. There's only three left. I need to make sure that I'm one of the next two, because in my brain, I mean, it's starting to creep in when someone leaves. Like, if we're stuck here last, that's 1 in 4,997 chance to find this damn coin. And so panic is setting in a little bit, but again, the second wind. And so we continue flipping, and by now, all strategies out of the window. We're like jumping over each other, crossing. And I just want to say something. They didn't air it. When Raquel found the stone, I was like right behind her. The yell that emitted from this woman, just the pure like rage. It literally, each person that found it before me, something came out of them that I can't explain to anyone, and I don't think it was justified properly on the show. And I know they only have 40 minutes to put everything in, but Kim finds it, and this just roar comes out. Everyone knows I yell every single time something good happens. And then, I'm sitting in there. I'm like, okay, Kim's gone, Raquel's gone. It's Arun and I. Who's going to find it first? And, I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, these guys have had so many lucky opportunities. They've been saved. There's no way in hell that the race gods are going to allow Arun to find this coin before me. Boom. I hear this yell like a tigress
Ooh.
ripping apart a bunch of animals in a cage. And I mean, just the dread that hits me, my guts just sink. And I know that I'm the last man standing at this point, and I try not to let it get to me too quick, but I'm going to be completely honest. After about 15 minutes of being alone in this rock garden with no one to help me, Ryan really can't give me too much support, and it's defeat starts setting in, and there's some real dark things starting to creep in my mind. And I think people are going to realize if you've watched it, man, my childhood was rough. I come from a single parent family. My dad did the best he could to raise me, but a lot of yelling and screaming in the household, just kind of how I was raised. And man, I had a temper, and it's in there, and I've worked very hard to put that away. And so, I'm just starting to get nervous, like what is about to come out of me on national television at this point. And I'm frantically struggling and scared, and just like I don't know what to do, and it's creeping in my mind that I'm blowing this for our team. We've worked this hard to get here, and Ryan and I's biggest fear was one of us, being the reason that we get knocked out. And so
Right.
I'm getting angrier and angrier. I'm like, this is just inhumane. This is completely luck. I mean, there's no skill involved in this, and we're proponents of like we get better. A good example, the flag challenge in Switzerland. If you give us an opportunity to get better, we tend to get it done. It may not be the first time, but we improve each time. And so to realize I didn't have an opportunity to improve, and it was just you're looking around each way, and I'm like, I don't even know where to begin. And so
Yeah.
I go kneel down in front of the Oracle of Delphi. I'm almost to the point where I'm going to pick her up and look under her. Honestly, I'm like, I have no idea where it can be. And so I'm completely lost. I would say 30 minutes after Arun left is when things start getting real bad for me. Rocks are starting to slam on the ground, and I'm just looking every which way for an exit out of this thing, and it's not presenting itself. And so that's when my partner, my best friend, my buddy, he makes the statement. He's like, "Let's take a break, man. Let's take a break." And so that's
Because
when
at this point, how much time has elapsed? And I'm glad that they make like two moments of like giving like the time that had elapsed, and the last one that they show is 2 hours and 58 minutes. So you're bent over, and anyone that says that this wasn't physical, I would argue that it might have been the most physical challenge because, again, it doesn't matter how physically fit you are, you're leaning over on your hands and knees, hunched over these stones for you guys 3 hours. Like, how soon after when Ryan pulled you up there did you find it?
So when we go up, at this point, Ryan's telling me take the penalty. I'm starting to like think about this honestly because at this point, guys, I am destroyed. And anyone out there that says this wasn't physical, I'm a pretty physical guy, and there's not many things in my life that have put me through the ringer like this. I'm bleeding. If you notice, I do get a set of gloves at some point. Ryan's like, "Hey, do you need these?" And I'm like, "The hell is wrong with you, man? This is like Dumb and Dumber. Are you kidding me? You had two pair of gloves the whole time." And if you see at the end, my fingertips of my gloves are gone. There's blood pouring out of my legs. I'm filthy. I'm covered in sweat. My back is killing me. My legs are shot from prior legs. I'm shutting down, honestly. I haven't had much water. I'm dehydrated and I'm just enraged. I'm thinking about my son. Like, I just want to go home. My dad's looking at me from upstairs, staring down, like ashamed that like I'm talking about quitting. And so Ryan just brings me to the top and says, "Man, if we're going home, Dusty, let's just take a view of where we're at right now." And so we're standing at the back of the theater. And honestly, I don't even know if I'm supposed to go up there and be around him, but at this point, I don't care. And so, I needed this. And everyone knows that's watched this, man. I run a million miles an hour, and Ryan is just so even keeled. And man, he just said, "Dusty, whatever happens, happens, man. I love you." But he's like, "Your son will watch this one day." And, I agree with him then. In my mind, I'm like, "Dusty, quit being a bitch, tie the bootlaces up, get your ass back in this thing and start flipping stones because your son will see this one day." And so I walk down, I'm just kind of aimlessly looking around like, where am I going to begin? I'm almost in tears at this point. And about 5 minutes in, you see the video. I'm over by that, like the side, somewhere I'm like, maybe it's over here. And I see it. And what comes out when I flip that thing over, guys? I mean, that was the beginning of a life changing experience for me. The demons were, I mean, on the precipice of coming out, and bad things. I was worried, like what I was going to say, what I was going to do. I mean, I was in a very dark spot. And so to get that over with and get that monkey off my back and just to rewatch it and just see Ryan so nonchalantly up there giving me a golf clap, it
I know.
really,
I was like,
it just sums up who we are, man. I mean, I'm a
it
lunatic, guys.
perfectly
And
does.
he's golf clapping me after watching me go through hell for what was at least 3 hours. In my mind, too, I'm going to be honest with you, and I think Kim said it in her podcast last week. When things are going well, 30 minutes feels like 5 minutes, but when they're going bad, 30 minutes feels like 14, 15 hours. And so I thought I was in there a little longer than that, but again, I'm not sure. But I mean, just elated to get it over with. And I mean, I know we're in dead last at this point, but just to get this monkey off my back and not have to stand there anymore and question if I'm going to take a penalty and have to deal with the realization that my son's going to tell me one day, "Dad, why'd you quit?" That wasn't going to happen. And so, Ryan, man, I love you, brother. There's not enough that I can say. And I just want to say real quick too, all of the support that I've gotten and the messages that have come to me have been like really moving, and like I'm about to tear up. It means a lot because Kayla knows I was really nervous about this episode for a long time. I just didn't want it to happen again, and like I've worked very hard to like put that behind me and work on my anger issues, and so to get through it, it meant the world to me. And I'll tell you, when we were done, to realize what all was left. I mean, I'm like, I thought it was the pit stop after this. Are you kidding me? And lo and behold, we have to go find Socrates. And so
Yeah.
What the hell
And
did you
so,
guys think when you pulled up to that guy?
dude, well, so before we talk about Socrates, I want to take a minute to fully go over the time frame because that's what everyone has been asking for the most part. So again, Kim and Penn arrived 30 minutes before us, but Raquel found it in 90 minutes. And again, these stats are from Kim. Kim took these notes. Raquel found it in 90 minutes. So at this point, Kim and Penn take another 30 minutes to find it after Raquel. Um, so Kim took an extra hour than Raquel, and Kim had been there for 2.5 hours. Um, so and then Arun found it 10 minutes after that. So I guess from a time standpoint, Arun technically found the rock second in that challenge. So if it would have strictly just been on arrival time and departure time, it would have been Raquel, Arun, Kim, and then yourself. Um, but that's just needle in the haystacks. The equalizers are nuts, man. And then to see Raquel step on it and Kim flip it over once, it's just like, oh my god, I, I'm so proud of you. I don't mean that in like a condescending any kind of way. Like I know that you were stressed about this one. Um, I'm glad that they showed like the growth that like you experienced and like it's so hard as like contestants of this race and then to watch it from like the couch and like fully get the emotion that we go through, and I feel like they did a really good job, because this one was physically and emotionally absolutely grueling. Like I cried watching it just because I know you and I care about you, but my friends who are literally there rooting for me are literally in tears because they're just like seeing what you're going through. So like I don't want to take anything away from that. You should feel very proud of yourself. Miles is going to be unbelievably proud of you. You did not give up. I think a lot of people would have. But yes, we will move on. I won't dwell on it. So yeah, we're driving to Socrates and we have to go to the Trigonian Tower. Again, the map that we're given, it has all these tourist like destinations on there. It was number 9. I knew where it was. So luckily, after getting to the theater, we did not get lost. But parking was a freaking bitch. Like
Oh
you,
man.
we literally drove to Socrates. I'm like, well, that's it. And it's like, well, no, you have to park behind the high school. And Arun and Natalia had a really hard time. It's literally like looks like this castle. You have to go past it, up the hill, park behind the castle, but you just have to run back down. So luckily we had found Socrates before we parked, so we knew where we had to run back to. Whereas you see Arun and Natalia literally running around the whole building in a circle, and they're like, we didn't see it. So that was such a hard thing that they kind of left out. It was a lot more running. But yeah, man, you hear me on the thing. He's so creepy. His eyes are like the biggest I've ever seen it, and he's talking like, I don't know, so slow. And I'm like, oh my God, spit it out. Like, because every second I'm there, I don't know, Kim could have found it 2 seconds behind us. They're just as good with navigation. I'm like, I do not want to see them running up behind us as you're still telling me, like, spitting out what you got to say. And he says, there is only one good knowledge, and then there is only one evil ignorance. So I was just like, oh my God, like spit it out. But yeah, he was creepy as heck.
Freaked me out. Ryan and I get there and we're both like, in our back of our mind, we're like, we're in last, like maybe let's take in some sights, and then we get to this guy. A funny story too, if you guys notice, Ryan's driving at this point. This is the first
I was
time
gonna
Ryan's
say,
driving. So my
were you
leg
like,
my legs are shot. I mean, I'm just like, Ryan, you're up, buddy. Time to go. I'm a shell of a man in the back seat here. And so one thing he does do in that parking spot, it was very like by the time we got there is hours after everyone, and so it's like kind of busy. I bet they're like, man, we can't hold these spots anymore for Amazing Race. So Ryan has to do like a donut 360 Ace Ventura roll into the spot. I mean, I've never seen. It was the most impressive thing I've ever seen. I hope at some point they put an extra video out about it. But I'm like looking
dude,
at the production, and
behind the
they're
scenes?
like, no, 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 and I'm like, yeah, 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 hammer it, and he puts it in. So yeah, we see Socrates, and he's big eyed and creeping in. At this point, I'm on edge. I'm like, I'm about to get this guy. I think he's trying to pickpocket me or something. And so Ryan's look of bewilderment just loves me too. And he's the philosopher of our team, and so I think he's kind of liking it. Nah, I'm just like, dude, give me what you got. I got to get out of here.
Yeah,
And
we gotta go.
and so that leads us to the detour. And so I forget what was it. It was breaking plates and
So it's Yeah, it's break them or bring them. And so at this point, we've parked the car. We get to Socrates. We get our clue. We're not going back to the car. So we are now on foot trying to find. It's almost like this arts district, and you have to find a specific restaurant. And from there, yes, you'll either break them or bring them. And again, the physicality of this episode, it was a lot of running on foot after the stones. So we had to get directions from a local to figure out how to get to this restaurant. And actually, like, we were trying to, like, look up the restaurant specifically, and it was very hard to find.
So
It
hard.
wasn't coming up. So we just had to ask for this area, this art district area, it was all downhill. It was very steep. And it was just so unbelievably dense. You see Kim and Penn kind of get lost getting there. We got very lucky. We just kept going down, and it was like kind of, I don't know, like it was so dense. You couldn't tell, like, is this a store, is this a restaurant, or is this someone's backyard? But we got there fairly easily. We just, every time we saw someone, because that was another thing, for how dense it was, there wasn't really that many people out and about. So we were just like, I don't want to run past it, because again, it straight downhill. I was like, Raquel, I do not want to have to run back up. So every time as we go down, if we see someone, we're stopping and asking. So we stopped and asked the whole way down to where we never went past, and like, oh yeah, just take a right, it's right in there. So we got very lucky with directions there. But yes, you had to either bring 300 plates uphill to a location, or you could break 300 plates with like a band playing. So we quickly were like, break them, because again, I think everyone needed therapy after this. Like, granted, we were very blessed that Raquel had found it first. I give all of that credit to her good energy and her mindset.
It's
But I was
still
like,
an
no,
ass
like,
kicker
break
getting
them.
out in that amount of time. Shit, I mean, my hat is off to you, Raquel. Like, just because you're first, you got your ass kicked.
But yeah, so we have to break them, and it's one at a time, alternating, and you can't break them when the music is not playing. So me and Raquel quickly, our strategy was just like, count off 1, 2, 1, 2 to try and do it as quickly as we could. But also, we didn't really know where this clue was going to be. I didn't know if it was going to come out of the plate, but then Raquel made a good point of, it could just be on the bottom of it, so let's check it beforehand and then throw it. So we don't miss it, because the more plates that you're smashing, you're just getting this big pile of, like, clay. I literally cut my fingers probably 3 or 4 times. Like, you see me like sucking the blood out of my finger. Like, at one point, I think someone goes, "Did you get the blood?" Like, I'm literally like dripping. But I luckily, like, as we broke it, I saw it and we put it to the side. We actually made a mistake here. I thought you had to break all of the plates before you could go, whether you found the clue or not. So luckily we were just so far ahead. Now, granted, it probably only added like 5 minutes, but I would just like to say, if you look at the stack of plates, Raquel and I, when we found it, maybe had like 10, 15 plates left. It wasn't a ton, but again, we have to wait for the band to play to smash them. So we have like less than a stack. I looked at when Kim and Penn had it, they maybe had half of a stack or like a full one close to it. You guys had maybe a stack. Natalia and Arun still had 3 stacks left that they didn't have to smash. So it literally took almost all of us, minus Natalia and Arun, smashing all of the plates. Again, waiting for the band. And I noticed watching it, Ryan like finds it behind him, and I'm like, oh my god, that was so lucky. Like, well, how therapeutic was that for you, though?
I
Honestly.
mean, it was a no-brainer. Right when we saw Smash, Ryan goes, I know what you want to do." And I was like, "Dude, get ready. I'm going to start throwing the band members over the balcony." So we get there, and if you watched it, I mean, Ryan and I are literally spiking these things, looking right at each other like,
You were like,
yeah, I didn't. I read just the first part of the clue, smash plates. I didn't even know there was a clue in it. I swear to you. And so we're smashing, smashing, smashing at a very rapid rate. And Ryan looks over real quick, and I mean, we are so lucky that it like popped out to the side. And World, I promise you, production didn't do anything special for us or tell us where it was at. It was completely lucky. But if Ryan didn't see that, this pile of clay from these plates, I mean, it would have taken another. I mean, we could have been sitting there for another 3 hours. And so, I mean, I think someone upstairs was definitely, they're like, we've tortured these two enough today. Ryan having to witness me die and me literally dying on a theater floor. Thank goodness we found it. And so the clue shows White Tower, which I think, I mean, I felt like I was like, I've seen that. I have an idea where that's at, but I know it's a real, real long way away. You got to get down to the water and then run a whole hell of a lot
Hmm.
more to get to the White Tower. And so,
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, we're both exhausted. I can barely move. I mean, so you guys are out in front. You're making the run down. What's going through your minds? You guys know you're in first place?
So we feel no, like yes and no. Like we know we're in the head of the pack, but again, it's like someone could have found that rock 10 minutes after us, and we had a little bit of a delay parking to find Socrates. We're pretty good on foot, so I knew we did fine getting to the smashing of the plates. Um, but this run down to White Tower, what I how long do you think that run was, Dustin? I
Miles,
don't
like two to three, I
miles.
think. I mean, 2 to 3.
And again, it's all straight downhill. You hear me say like knees don't fail me. I am definitely the runner of the group, so I had Raquel's backpack and the fanny pack like the majority of the time because again, we were running off of the momentum of we found the rock first. We've come so close but not quite gotten it yet at like, first place. So, instead of us taking a break and like slowing down, I was like, "Raquel, I will take the bags. Like, let's go. I'm fine. Let's run." But again, it's again that map that they gave us had all these touristy spots. So I found it and I saw that it was by the water and everything's downhill. I knew the water was downhill. So I was like, Raquel, let's just run as fast as we can downhill towards the water. Then we will figure out if it's left or right. It has to be all the way down to the water. So sure enough, we get all the way down there. I see it to the left. It was like clear as day. I think we did stop one time just to make sure and be like, hey, like, how far are we to the water? Like, we can still just go straight all the way by foot. And they're like, yeah. I mean, this run is like, it's never ending. And then when we get to the water, you see that long coastal sidewalk. Y'all, we were far down that
So
sidewalk.
far.
And then to run all the way back down, I'm like, where's Phil? Where's Phil? And like, I see him and I literally just like scream. I'm like, oh my God, there's Phil. But oh my God, like at that point, because again, someone could have done the other challenge, but I was like, there's no way carrying 300 plates was faster than us smashing them. Because again, I saw the clue, I moved it to the side, we smashed the rest. It's not like I was ready to put on gloves and hunt through the clay if we didn't see it, but we did. So like at that point, I think once we were running, it kind of hit me and I was like logically trying to think like could anyone have possibly been faster than us on the carrying the plates, and I was like there's no way. I think we're first, so we have to be first. And like when I say like the happiest I've probably ever felt in my entire life was when he said we were in first place. Like I was so proud of Raquel for keeping it calm like during that rock challenge. I would have been losing it. I would have been the same minds. Like I would have struggled just like you would have. That's not my strong suit. I'm not mentally as calm as Raquel. So I was so proud of her. I was also so proud of her. She never stopped running. She ran the entire way with me all the way down to the White Tower. And so it's just like I just finally felt validated and like how hard we had been trying. I truly think we were having fun the whole entire time. And so for him just to say first, I was like, okay, like this is all I needed. This is all I wanted. Like I was so happy and to go to Kauai. I've always wanted to go. I get to go with Raquel. Like I literally was like, words can't express like how happy I was because I was exhausted. I was sweaty. I was just like, oh my, this is the best feeling ever. This must be how everyone has been feeling the whole entire time. Kim and Penn, Dusty and Ryan, because I was like, this is
I'll be
awesome.
honest with you, it like when I watched it again, because I know we talk a lot, we all know kind of what's happened. We've lived it. You guys have fought so hard and you've been there and I would have loved to win every leg, but I think honestly, like it's good that everyone gets a taste of it. And when you guys finally got it done and I saw the emotion come out of you, I'm already an emotional wreck watching this episode, but it literally brought tears to my eyes for you guys because You guys are badasses, man. Like it was you made a statement that we're going to be the fourth all girl team to do it. In my notes and some things I've looked up, it's been 40 legs since an all girl team has won a leg on the Amazing Race. And so, I mean, for you to be the girls to do it, everyone out there, these girls will whoop some ass. I mean, I'm telling you, they're beasts, man. And it felt good for me to see you guys get one, break up the monotony of the Holdernesses on this run. I'm like, okay, maybe we all do have a
I
chance.
know.
Okay, they're beatable. Perfect. I wish it was us, but someone
Yeah.
got them. But we love you, Penn and Kim.
And yeah, and like also like just from like a mindset standpoint, like not only do we really want to win, but it's like we become so close and on the last like you hear like you guys were so spooked that we might U-turn you guys and us leaving the rock challenge there was talks like okay if there's a U-turn like should we do it and like I will say there was a conversation between Raquel and I of if there's a U-turn, are we smart and try and help ourselves with a strong team? But then we also like there weren't alliances, guys, but we had these feelings of there were teams that had been saved. Do we just in case like we didn't know that you were the last one still there, but there was like should we U-turn Natalia and Arun if given the chance to give Kim and Penn or Dusty and Ryan the chance because like yeah, they're y'all haven't had a non-elimination leg. Like it was like I didn't we ultimately decided we weren't going to do it regardless. That's not how we wanted to move forward. And so to get first and not have to do that also, I was just proud that it was truly just effort and energy put in by every single team so far. There was no U-turning. It's great TV, but it's also when you get to know these teams, it's just that's just something that I think collectively we all didn't want to do. So I'm glad that didn't present itself because I think you guys had a hard enough
Man,
day.
if you guys would have U-turned me after
um,
that, there would have been some words said. It would have been real good TV. Like, how dare you?
No, no. But it's just funny because those are questions that we've been getting. So I wanted to answer it on the podcast. Like, was it discussed and was it talked about? Yes, but ultimately it was not going to be our decision. We never even were presented with that this leg.
Thank God.
And it's just funny. Like, yes, this episode was so special, for us because we did take first, but it was also special in the fact that obviously you and I are doing this podcast. You are my friend, but so are Kim and Penn, so are Natalia and Arun. I knew how emotional this leg was for you, but I didn't know how emotional until I saw it. And for me to have all of my closest family and friends there and see you guys get there and just be like, please don't be a non-elimination. Please don't be a non-elimination. And like obviously all of my friends are rooting for me, but at the same time it's just like the humanity inside of you of like don't send them home. Like, my logical side should be like, "Oh my god, yes, please send them home because you guys are a strong as hell team. It would only help our chances." But it's just like, yeah, like your heart is breaking for you and Ryan. And like all of my friends are literally like on the edge of their seats like what is about to come out of Phil's mouth? Like are they safe? Are they not? And like I again, it's a catch 22. It would have been great for us as far as like you guys are a strong team and you're out, but also just from like a fan of the show and a fan of you guys as human beings. I was just like, oh, I was so relieved. I can only imagine how you felt. Like on the mat, you see you get emotional. Phil tells you that it's a non-elimination and you're saved. Like what's going through your mind, what's going through your heart. Like you and Ryan like literally made me cry. Your friendship is truly something special, and for the world to get to see that, everyone should be very lucky because I mean your friendship is like once in a lifetime. I can't think of hardly anyone who's been through the friendship that you guys have been put through, like the trials and tribulations. And so just to feel that like grace, I guess, like what how'd you
So
feel?
the first thing, we're running up, and I see this little dude get out of a cornucopia or whatever that is, and I'm like, oh my god, they hired Tommy Chong. He looks just like Tommy Chong. I'm like, how in the hell did you get Tommy Chong to climb out of a basket in
I thought
Greece?
I was gonna see his nut sack for
I
a second.
mean,
He like hit on that diaper. I was like,
oh
ah.
man. So again, a bunch of weird props that people through this. But we hit the mat, and immediately as we're running up, I'm like, "Don't say it, Phil. Don't do it. I can't hear this. You just can't do it." And I mean, guys, I burst into tears when I hit the mat. And it's not shown. They try, how it's edited, and I won't get too deep into that. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, I just let Ryan down. I blew this. This was, my biggest fear was either going out first or being the one that caused us the race. I'm thinking about my dad. I'm thinking about my son. I'm thinking about home. It's like inside of me, I'm like, I'm ready to go. Like, I'm exhausted. This is it's taken me to a place that, man, I haven't been in a long time. And so, we start talking. I'm extremely emotional, and Phil, just like a therapist, starts asking me questions about my past and, what this means to me. And I mean, I emotionally break down, and I say things that, no one knows about me. I've been a very, I've said it before. I've grown up rough. There's millions of people that have been that, but I've just always held my emotions in. And honestly, guys, this was therapy for me. It was the worst experience of my life to think that I've lost the amazing race for me and my best friend. I've let all my friends down back home. I've let my son down. My dad's looking down at me, probably ashamed that I didn't, in my mind, this is what's going on. And so to get all of this off my chest and to say the things I did, I've never done anything like this before. I mean, all of my friends were like dumbfounded, jaws on the table. And so it was therapy. And then for Ryan to say the things he did, I remember looking at him, and Phil's kind of like, what are your thoughts on this? And the first thing he says that's not aired is he goes, I knew something like this would happen, and he needed it. And so, I mean, what Ryan means to me, guys, like our friendship, and just like Kayla said, like we've been through hell. I had a shit go of it at the beginning. Ryan had his life ripped away for 10 years, but we've always stuck by each other. And, for Ryan to just keep saying, man, you didn't lose this for us. You didn't lose this for us. I didn't want to hear it. I wasn't going to accept it, but just to, know that he had my back, man. And I hope the world knows, man, I'm crazy. I yell. I know that ruffles some feathers in some people, but I'm just an emotional guy. But we really give a shit about each other. This is real. Like our friendship is 100% real. There's nothing fabricated. And just to have him, there's no one else that I could have done this with. And I'm just blessed to have him. And so when Phil said, well, you're going to get another crack at this, it's a non-elimination leg, I think all of Greece probably heard me scream. I was just pleased, Phil. Like, there's nothing I did wrong here. And I know that's like a stupid thing to say, but this was dumb luck. And I'm like, man, I can't be the reason we lose for something that I didn't have an opportunity to get better at. And so, I know there's probably some people mad about the non eliminations, but I'm so blessed and glad that this was one. And guys, this wasn't it's predetermined. No one, they didn't like my story and us, being emotional didn't save us. This was pre-done, the determined. And so,
Yeah.
I mean, it was relief. Um, it was just happiness and joy that, and like, just, I was like,
I think you almost kissed
I
Ryan.
did. I kissed him
Like,
on his head. I just didn't know what to do. And words can't put it into how I felt. And like, I remember just being done and sitting down and just looking around and like, I mean, the look of bewilderment on everyone's face. I don't think anyone expected what happened to happen in like the floodgate. I mean, I've never in a million years never thought anything like what happened on national television would, but it changed my life. And I know a lot of people say that, and it's easy to throw out there, but this was therapy for me, and it's honestly the biggest blessing in disguise. It was awful. I would never want to do it again, but it was needed for me, and it showed me a side of me that it's okay to be vulnerable. And I'm not going to be. I'll be the first one to tell you I'm not going to cry every day, but I've cried a lot since this, and I think it was just 38 years of built up, being ashamed of things, hiding things, lying to myself, and just to be able to do it on a platform like this, one, it's terrifying, and that's what scared me so bad. It wasn't even really the freaking out. It was just being vulnerable.
it's on national television. Yeah, it's being vulnerable of like you were at your lowest moment and now the whole world's gonna
And
see it.
so life changing. And I'm just so blessed that we get the opportunity to race. And I want to say something nice about Kim. On her podcast, she was like, just like you said, it could have been easy for us to be happy if the boys went out, but I know that you two and those two, and probably Arun and Natalia, know we're competitors. If you're going to win, you want to compete against the best. And so I appreciate them saying that, and you
Yes.
guys saying that as well. And I know Arun and Natalia feel the same way. So just the respect from the cast that I've received, and just the outpouring from everyone. Man, it was a rough ordeal, but I'm glad I did it. I wouldn't change anything in the world, and I'm just blessed that the race gods are giving us another chance to come back next week and see what can happen. But what a ride, man! And again, you get to see the lows and the highs on this podcast. We our first win for Raquel and Kalo, first time in 40 legs. You get to see the gruesome twosome get their faces beat in. And live to fight another day. And that's all I can say is just thank you, race gods, for giving me a chance to try to get back in this next week. 30 minutes down, not the place we want to be. It's going to be real interesting.
So yeah, we are going into leg 10 now. The departure times are Raquel and myself are in the first departure time. And then it is Kim and Pin, Natalia and Arun leaving second. And you guys leaving on your own third. But hey, you're still in it.
That's right. Our biggest fear,
yes.
being even further behind.
Yeah, so leg 10, we don't know where. Only 3 teams will make it to the finale to run this out. And yeah, you guys are going to see all of it on Wednesday. 2-hour finale. I can't believe this is so close to wrapping up. I'm like kind of sad.
I'm so excited to see you in Miami. Is the real deal. At least we all get to hang out one last time.
Yes, almost all of the cast is going to be in Miami for the finale watch party. If anyone is interested in going, you can purchase a ticket. Just either email us or message us on Instagram. It's at pitstop_podcast_ or pitstoppodcast33@gmail.com. Yeah, I guess.
We'd love to hang with you.
We would. Yeah, come meet us. We can take pictures. You can ask all of your questions in person after we've had a couple, tequila shots. I'm just kidding. But no, I cannot wait to see you, Dusty. Especially after this episode, I want to give you a big hug. But I cannot wait to see how this thing finishes. I'm sure you guys all feel the same. But yeah, until next time, guys.
We love you. Thank you for tuning in. See ya.
See ya.